What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today I'm back with another video here. The Flyers lose again 4-3 to the New Jersey Devils in overtime. Where do I start tonight? I mean, there was a lot of things to kind of break down, from the lineup to the 5-minute major to Farabee not playing to the comeback to the overtime. Let's start with the lineup. Okay. Look, I'm not really upset because, again, you do lose this game 4-3, but you had a lot of good moments in this game. But then again, at the same time, the overtime was the overtime, and that kind of just pissed away every good thing, really. If you win this game, it looks great. You know, it could have been your first comeback win, your first win, you know, not scoring first. They at least got to overtime. That's better than what it's been. Forrester, Couturier, Konechny, Tippett, Frost, Brink, Farabee, Lawton, Atkinson, Delorier, Paling, and Hathaway. Really, they played most of this game with 11 forwards and then 10. I'll get to that in a minute. York, Sanheim, Sealer, Walker, Zamula, Ristolainen, and Carter Hart in net. So Zamula comes in for Stahl. The offense didn't really change. They did switch some things up. Tippett with Frost and Brink. Farabee put together with Lawton and Atkinson, two of the vets that have kind of been struggling a little bit. Delorier with Paling and Hathaway. So the Devils, again, the Flyers they've done this the past couple of games. Really, since the Columbus game, they've had the 5-2 game against Columbus, the first game of the stretch of Metropolitan games where their Flyers are 2-3-1 now, with 2 left against the Penguins in a home-and-home. You know, the last couple of games, it's been a lot of slow starts. The Devils get the first goal at 16:10. Holtz rips it from the slot, and that's where Farabee is the prime example of that, because that's the last shift he played. He only played 56 seconds in this game, and it's a play off the wall. He gets beat. Devils go down the ice, and Holtz rips one. Well, Farabee didn't really backcheck, but I'd also argue that Lawton really didn't either. Like, he was on his man, yeah, but I don't really think he made an attempt on the play to stop anything from going on. Like, and I'm not trying to you know, harp on Lawton, I guess, because, again, he's still in position. But, like, I don't like the idea of sitting one of your better wingers. The Farabee's easily been in my opinion, outside of Konechny, he's been the best winger. I mean, he's probably been the Flyers' second best player. I mean, it's probably been Couturier. It's Farabee. Hart is up there. Coots has been good. And obviously there's others, right? But Farabee's been good for him to be made the guy, and when Torts always brings up the teaching point and the accountability thing. That's where that comes from. That's the thing. If another winger does that, if that's Atkinson, or if that's, say, Lawton's on the wing, or if it's Hathaway or Delorier, who knows? Does that guy get sat? I don't think so. So that's kind of where I look at it. Flyers, they just looked shook. Like, the Devils were very speedy. It was very similar to Carolina. They had a lot of speed through the neutral zone. They kind of cut through on the Flyers very quickly, and they didn't really have an answer for it. They almost scored again. Then they get a power play. Sealer had a block shot from Luke Hughes. I thought the Flyers did a good job of getting into the lanes. Hart had a really nice save on Luke Hughes again as well later in that power play, and then the Flyers get one. Coots took a high stick on that penalty, and then Forrester got clipped up high, so the Flyers ended up going to power play of their own, and they didn't really do much. They passed it around. They had good movement, but I feel like that's what it's been for really all year on the power play. It's just been, they've moved it around, yeah, and it's like, it's always, well, that was encouraging, but then the next one, they don't really do anything. So that's kind of where I get frustrated with it. Then the Frost takes a penalty 4-on-4. Flyers had 2 shots in the first 13 minutes of this game, and then 2-0. York made a horrible pinch. Sanheim was already down low. York crept down low. No one picks him up. It was like the Fred Shero rule, basically, which is like, if your partner goes on one side or does any specific thing, don't do that. It is really what it is, and he did that, and it's 2-0. Then the major penalty comes. My God, that was horrific. I mean, look, I understand the whole... I understand calling that a penalty. Like, if that was on the Flyers, I probably would have been screaming for a call too. But to call that a major in the first period, it's 2-0. Flyers are trying to get back into it. He doesn't leave his feet. He doesn't really hit him up high. It's more shoulder to shoulder. A little bit of the shoulder hits him up top. He even came back. It looked like he honestly got the wind knocked out of him. It didn't look that bad from what I guess it seemed or sounded like or whatnot. That was just, I don't know. I mean, I really didn't like that call. Again, like I said, he doesn't leave his feet. He doesn't, plan up or anything like that. And the Devils didn't have like a huge response to it. Like they kind of just sat back a little bit. Like it wasn't really, they didn't really go at Hathaway. I mean, Siegenthaler wrapped him up, but no one fought him obviously he got a game of the 5 in a game, but if he stays, does anyone fight him? I don't really know. Like, I don't know. I didn't really love and it's not like I really care, but the response from New Jersey wasn't good there. I thought, and it was just a bad call. But the Flyers killed it off. That was the good thing. They kill it off. They go into the second period. It was a good shift from the fourth line and the Couturier line. Then they get a power play. It was a hold on Heischer. They had a lot of good movement. Again, it was encouraging, but they didn't really do anything with it, right? So that's the one thing that's frustrating with that. As for the second period, the Flyers had 25 shots in this period. I mean, they had a ton of chances. They had 47 for the game. They had 48 at one point going into overtime. That's their highest shots on goal. At 43, they said it was their highest shots on goal total of the season. So 47 is the highest as of right now. It's something that you like to see. I mean, it was a good period. Brink had a chance in tight. No Farabee again, like I said. Hart had a really nice save on Toffoli. Then the Flyers get a power play. It was a hook on Heischer again. That was the second penalty of the game. Tippett, good play to kind of, draw a penalty there, and he almost scored as he batted the puck out of the air and just kind of fanned on the backhand. But Frost makes it 2-1. Shot from the point. Konechny finds Frost on the play coming at the net. Slam dunk for Frost. It's 2-1. And then the Devils get a power play late. It was interference on wrist line. I thought that was a good call. I mean, you kind of have to call that. Hart, Stones, Holtz in front. My God. Hart was the only reason that it was 2-1. It could have been 4-1 Devils going into the third period, and the game would have been over. 3-1, though, going into this period. The Flyers had a power play that carried over. Again, it's encouraging, but they don't score. Power play for the Devils. It was a hook on Frost. I didn't like that call. Very ticky-tacky, I felt. He didn't really get a ton on the hands. So they call it 3-1. Toffoli scores. Hart needed help. Like, the puck sat there. It was kind of a play where you're like looking. You're like, all right, somebody pick this up, and Toffoli just slam dunk right on top of it. And that's another one where Lawton kind of is just one hand on his stick right behind Toffoli. I'm like, that's another teaching point, I feel like. If you're going to, talk about teaching points, and I know the rush play in the neutral zone, like I talked about, that's been a huge thing the past couple of games. They've given up a ton of room and chances through the neutral zone, and I get it. It's a talking point, for sure. But to make a guy who's younger and is also again, you are rebuilding. Like, I'm just not a fan of sitting a guy for an entire game for that when he's played well. And again, like I said, you're in the game still. It's 1-0 at that point. I don't know. It's really hard for me to get around that. There's 3-1, and then Walker scores. Is it me, or does all Sean Walker do is play really solid defensively, move the puck up the ice, and every time he scores, that's an absolute snipe? Like, his shorthanded goal against Edmonton, the goal against Dallas, he had the one against Vegas a couple games ago, the seeing eye shot, and this one's friggin' bar down from the point, 3-2. So the Flyers get back in it. Power play here. Frost draws one as a hook on Jack Hughes. 5-on-3. An absolute tomahawk slash on Smith. His stick goes up to the moon and comes down. So 36 seconds, 5-on-3, and then bam, Tyson Forrester ties his game 3-3. It was a shot from Law, and he gets a tip on it in the slot. I mean, you love to see it. I mean, regardless of the overall loss, it sucks 100%. It was a bad play. They turned it over. They didn't get back. Sanheim tried to make a play that wasn't there. Unfortunately, New Jersey puts it in their net, and that kind of spoiled the whole comeback, right? But you have to give them credit, I think, because again, this team doesn't quit, and that's what you like to see is they play. And it's such a cliche thing, but they play hard and they check and they do all that, right? They do what a good hockey team should do, is really essentially what that is. it's not like they're doing anything special, but they're doing it more than what we're used to is kind of what the whole thing is here. And they're doing it without a ton of talent. And in a game like this, you want to see a guy like Mitch Gov or a guy like Goche or someone take over the game. Flyers don't have that guy right now. That's why they are struggling to get goals. And this is the first game in a couple where they've had, more than 2 goals in a game. It's going to be streaky. There's going to be games like this where they're in it, and that's why when people ask me about playoffs, it's not sustainable to me because you have too many games like tonight where you're in it, you have to fight back, you get a ton of shots on goal. I mean, they've averaged, there's been one game out of the last 5 they haven't had 30 shots on net. That was the other night against Carolina. They had 36 against the Islanders the first game, the 3-2 loss, 37 against the Rangers, 40 against the Islanders in the shootout win, 29 against Carolina. They had 47 tonight. So, I mean, they're getting a ton of shots. Grade A chances, I think they're getting enough for sure. I mean, they have a ton of chances to score. It's just, are they scoring them? And they were scoring them before. I mean, they had 22 goals in the previous 5 games from Anaheim to Columbus. They had a ton of chances from Anaheim, LA, Carolina, Vegas, and then Columbus. Like, they had 22 goals in that stretch of games. So, look, it's things like this that you want to see. There's definitely positives out of this game, but unfortunately, the overall game, they lose. They do have a home-and-home, Pittsburgh. Saturday night, I do have a watch party for that game. Hope to see you there. Again, like I said, Flyers they're right there, man. I mean, they're getting points. They're staying in games. That's the big thing. Thanks everybody again for all the support as always. I'm recording episode 3 of 4 Fly Guys, the new podcast, the flagship podcast of Maher Media. Check that out. That should be out tomorrow morning. Again, like I said, thanks everybody again for all the support as always. My name is Chris, and I will talk to you all again soon.